there, welcome to Insider Insights podcast, where we invite our Insider Imprint authors to chat to us about their recent publication. I'm Natalie, I'm an editor for Insider Imprint, the life science student journal at the University of Liverpool. Today I'm joined by Victoria Drugs, who wrote an article titled Thailand, the Land of Smiles for our third issue. So Victoria wrote about her time travelling to Thailand by herself, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing about her time away and how she found the publishing experience. So thank you for joining me, Victoria.
Hello.
And why don't you start by just telling us about your time in Thailand?
So I decided to join Camp Thailand it was a 2-week trip with them, and it was purely sort of traveling, and I sort of decided to do that because first of all it was kind of last minute, and it was just quite an easy thing to get onto, and the second of all, at the beginning of my first year I really wanted to get into some traveling, volunteering, and I think I kind of just left it a bit too long. But anyway, this sort of this came up and I thought it'd just be a really good opportunity to get out there, because I've never really traveled outside of Europe, and I thought it would be like a really, really good experience for me. And sort of to do it by myself as well, it was a bit challenging at times, because obviously during Camp Thailand I'd been with the camp, so I was with 2 other girls, and we had a tour guide and a camp rep, and then after those 2 weeks, my flight had been booked for about 10 days after that. So I decided to sort of fill that time doing things by myself, and that was obviously another challenge, planning my time and getting around using the public transport in Thailand. But it was really rewarding at the end.
Okay, why don't you tell us then some of the activities you did while you were there?
So we started our trip off in Bangkok, and we sort of did all the touristy stuff, Koh San Road, the Golden Temple. We sort of went round the tourist hotspots in Bangkok. Some other things we did, we went to, it was called Ancient City. It was an ancient city bike ride, and it was basically, so you rent out bikes, and it's like a mini city with lots of temples, and it was just really fun. It was just a really fun day out, really, to do it all together, and it was obviously really hot as well. After that we went to Erawan waterfalls. That was slightly up north, I think. That was great also, but I think for that one we should have left a little bit earlier, because we didn't get to see the main the biggest waterfall, because it was basically kind of it was a route that you went round, and you kind of stopped off at the waterfalls, so we didn't make it to the top one, which was a shame. But I guess it's I could just go another time when I go back. And yeah, then we went to Chiang Mai, and up there we went to an elephant sanctuary. That was probably one of my highlights, because we got to feed the elephants, bathe the elephants, we got a tour of the site, and it was just a really nice sort of insight into the background of sort of how elephants were mistreated in the past, and how everything is getting better, but obviously there's still work to be done. And it was quite inspiring to hear the sort of how the volunteers are so immersed in that as well, because they had so much knowledge about the whole thing and about how it works, and that also kind of opened up another pathway for me that I could do in the future, perhaps volunteer at one of the sanctuaries as well.
Oh, that's great. And I hear one of the things you did was you tried a scorpion while you were there.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Surprisingly, it was surprisingly, I got told that my tour rep, so the camp rep, he tried a tarantula the week before. So I was thinking, okay, that's a bit too much for me. I'll go for the scorpion, but it was just too crunchy. The texture of it made it you just couldn't even eat it, basically. And he said to me, oh, the tarantula was a lot better. It was a lot meatier. You should have gone for that. So that was one of my regrets, actually. Yeah.
Didn't think anyone would regret not eating a tarantula.
Yeah.
Very good. But so, what was one of the harder things about traveling by yourself?
I think it was the initial step of going from having that security of people being around me, and obviously our Thai tour guide, he knew exactly the way to sort of get around. He knew public transport very well as well. So it was kind of being left to my own devices, and also having that thought of, you kind of need to meet people. Um, because obviously when I was with Camp Thailand, I was quite settled, but when I was by myself, I kind of needed to get out there a bit, make friends and stuff, be more sociable.
And did you
Yeah.
meet many other people traveling by themselves outside of the Camp Thailand group?
Yes, yeah, I met quite a lot, and I so once when we were staying at one of the hotels, actually, it was a hotel, we met another camp that was also traveling, and I met some girls, and they said, oh, we're going to travel. We're going to travel after this as well. We're going to go to sort of the islands down south. And I thought, oh, great, maybe we should meet up. So I got to meet them when they were there as well in Phuket. I think they were, yeah, that was there. But apart from that, yeah, loads of people. I met many groups that were traveling together, and it wasn't just Camp Thailand groups. It was just so many people from around the world traveling. It was a really good experience.
So that's good. So you didn't feel like you were on your own, even though you set
Yeah,
off by yourself.
yeah. Exactly,
That's
because then
good.
when you sort of exchanged contact details with people, they just kind of message, are you coming to do this today, or are we going on this trip? And it was, yeah, it was. I didn't expect that actually. I thought I'd be doing more things by myself, but I wasn't.
Oh, that's good. Now you mentioned about the elephants being one of your highlights. Is there any other moments that stand out to you?
Um, yeah, I would say visiting all of the temples. I think specifically we visited a very very old one in Chiang Mai, and our Thai tour guide actually took us there, and it was kind of outside of the program plan. So we went there, and it was just, obviously it wasn't as grand as all the other temples I'd seen, because they were all, covered in gold and very big and sparkly. And this was just kind of like a very old wooden temple. And you kind of went in there, and you kind of felt the history, if you know what I mean. It was very serene, and it wasn't very busy at all. So it was just basically you and a very, very old wooden temple that obviously has had so much history in the past. So that was,
Yeah,
yeah, that was one of the highlights as well.
very good. And what do you think you've learned from this experience traveling?
I've learned that I can kind of do anything really now. I can go anywhere, and I don't have to rely on, kind of having somebody to go with, I suppose, because I was quite stressed about um, filling up my time by myself, planning what to do. But I found that once you're out there, I suppose you could just, you can do anything you like, really, and it's not as scary as it first seems.
That's good. Now you sent us some amazing photographs to go with your article. So is photography something you were interested in beforehand, or did you learn that while you're out there?
Yeah, but so I was always quite interested in photography. It was just one of my hobbies, really, and I guess being in such a beautiful place helped me kind of use those skills and that I'd learned in the past. Um, so I guess that kind of got me a little bit more interested about travel photography as well.
Very good. And what then would you tell other students who are maybe thinking of traveling by themselves and quite haven't got the confidence yet?
I would say Camp Thailand is a great kind of opportunity for you to, because obviously you have to be brave to go out there by yourself. But once you're there, you do have that security, and um, you do make those friends because obviously you're traveling with them. But I think so once they've done that, um, it will give them more confidence to go out by themselves. Because I felt like I got introduced into sort of the culture and how things are, and the best way to sort of go about things whilst traveling, whilst doing Camp Thailand. And I felt that's why I was a bit more confident after to go out by myself and make friends, and plan the activities by myself.
Very good. Do you think so you've had benefited from your travels then this year as a help with your experience now and going into your final year of university?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's given me a lot more confidence. Then at the same time, I guess it makes you kind of not worry about the little things, I guess. It just kind of puts things into perspective a little bit once you've done something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Now you've put yourself out into the real world.
Yeah.
Again.
Get back to Thailand, everyone. That will solve your problems.
Very good. But then what inspired you to write about your experience for our journal Insider Imprint?
So I attended, I think it was during Careers Week. Obviously I saw the stand and I thought, it would be great sort of opportunities to submit my photos, write something alongside it, because I guess the photos that I took, they were for me, but I kind of wanted to share that with people as well. And I thought about it in the past, maybe submitting photos or getting involved in articles, and I thought this was obviously part of life sciences, and I thought just it would be good to share that with everybody.
And could you tell us about your experience publishing with us? So what happened when you first got in contact to having your article actually published?
So initially I contacted Fabia about my idea of sort of submitting the pictures and writing my experiences alongside it and what I'd learned. And then she kind of guided me with that. So I submitted the pictures, wrote sort of a first draft, and then I sent that, and then I got some guidance back about how to improve it and what would be more suitable for the journal. And then yeah, I think I just kind of refined that and got like a final draft, and then yeah, that was it.
And do you find anything? What was the biggest challenge to trying to get your article published?
I would say possibly summarizing everything, because I did so many things, because I wasn't really out there for that long. It was less than a month, but I felt like I wanted to get everything down, but then I was like, right, I need to actually make this flow and cut it down a little bit, and then make it go with the pictures as well that I submitted. So yeah, that part of it as well, that was quite difficult.
Very good. And what advice would you give to other students who are thinking of publishing for Insider Imprint?
I would say sometimes you might have doubts. You might think, oh, it's just it's just some silly work I've done, or it's just like a few pictures. I think always, if you're proud of something, try and get it out there if you have an opportunity to. And those little self-doubts, they'll always be there, but you just have to think, you need to shut that little voice in your head down. So
Very good. And how does it feel to think now that you're a published author?
Yeah, it's great. It's still seems a bit weird, really, because I feel like with COVID and everything, we didn't have a proper launch, and it would have been good for everybody to have the physical copies as well during the launch. But yeah, it feels rewarding.
Very good. And how do you think this experience, both Thailand and publishing for Insider Imprint, will help with your potential career options?
It would be great if it would give me a great opportunity to maybe go into scientific writing, with having that experience of publishing, and knowing the process. It would be something good to talk about maybe during an interview. It could also maybe open a path up for photography for me. It'll be also great to talk about that.
And when things are then back to normal, do you think you would like to go traveling again?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a part of me that's missing now, because you can't just plan a trip away somewhere. But yeah, I think definitely I would like, when I'm finished my studies, whether it's this year or if I stay for a master's, I think I'll definitely like to do like a long period of time away, traveling, maybe doing some traveling, some working as well abroad.
And you think you would go by yourself again?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wouldn't scare me. Obviously it would be great if somebody would come with me. But yeah, it wouldn't scare me to do that.
It's always, I think, nice on the flights to have someone
Yeah.
with you. It's fine when you're there.
Yeah, always have a chat with somebody and stuff. But yeah, I think once you're out there, you most likely I'd probably meet people along the way that I would probably start traveling with. I think that's kind of what happens. Everybody merges together because they're in the same boat.
That's good. Well, thank you very much, Victoria, for chatting with me today. It was really interesting finding out about your time in Thailand. But that then brings us to the end of today's Insider podcast. I really hope you enjoyed listening. If you would like to find out more about our student journal, Insider Imprint, please check out our website, insiderimprint.com, to find out more and how to get involved. You can also get in contact with us via Twitter or Facebook or email. We always love to hear from you. So thanks again, Victoria, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Thank you.